Welcome, dear viewers, to another thrilling episode of Carcase for Hounds, the story that makes Game of Thrones look like a tea party. Today, we dive into the heart of chaos, where the weather is as unpredictable as your ex's mood swings, and the rivers have burst their banks like a bad plumbing job. Meet General Haraka and his merry band of uniformed misfits. These guys are so tough, they don't just kill policemen and white farmers. They accessorize with their uniforms. Move over, Gucci. These guys have got the ultimate survival gear. General Haraka has a love-hate relationship with Captain Kingsley, emphasis on the hate. If grudges were currency, Haraka would be richer than Elon Musk. He wishes he had finished Kingsley off when he had the chance. But alas, here we are. The government soldiers are all over the place like ants at a picnic, and the capital is buzzing with military presence and arrests. Meanwhile, Captain Kingsley is having a rough day. Not only is he battling guerillas, but he's also dealing with Mother Nature's wrath. The emergency council thinks he's taking too long on his mission. They've got a backup plan involving an aerial attack. It's like they're saying, "Hey Kingsley, if you can't handle it, we've got plan B, bomb everything." Brigadier Thames, the CO, is giving Kingsley the verbal equivalent of a boot camp workout. The EC is ready to replace Kingsley faster than you can say bureaucracy. Poor Kingsley, feeling unappreciated, is given one last chance, probably to see if he can pull off a miracle or just collapse under the pressure. As Haraka reminisces about his childhood, we see a simpler time. Well, sort of. Growing up with Chief Simba, their parents worked under the strict Bwana Jackson, the forest officer. As kids, they were like gang leaders, but not the cool kind. More like stealing and causing trouble in the village. Haraka, now General Haraka, became the first chief of Pinewood Forest Station. His journey from rebellious youth to feared leader was sparked by a dramatic incident where he knocked the DC into unconsciousness. Talk about making an impression. Chief Simba, on the other hand, is loyal to the white man and loves nothing more than exposing terrorist collaborators, and maybe a few innocent people he just doesn't like. Haraka's campaign attracts support from all over, despite the DC's harsh reprisals. General Haraka commands respect and fear like a pro. His lieutenant Kamamo is equally tough and commanding, making them the ultimate dynamic duo of terror. Kingsley, ever the intrepid captain, visits Pinewood Forest Station. The office is closed, the chief is napping, and a villager named Waru has been murdered. Yet no mention of a Mau Mau attack in the village. Bwana Jackson, the forest officer, couldn't care less about the villagers as long as they tend his precious trees. The police arrival is more of a parade than a practical response. The young inspector is humane, friendly, and duty-bound. Unlike the hardcore settlers who think the only good African is a dead one, this inspector believes capturing a Mau Mau alive is more valuable. For the next part of this gripping tale where the stakes get higher, the conflicts get fiercer, and the comedy, well, that's just getting started. And remember, never underestimate the power of a well-timed nap. Like action movie stars, General Haraka and his men storm the armory at Olpaheta police post, looting an assortment of arms and ammunition with the finesse of seasoned professionals. If they had an IMDb page, this scene would top their filmography. Captain Kingsley and his soaked soldiers arrive fashionably late, only to chase shadows. Meanwhile, another police post at Timau is under attack. Is Haraka omnipresent or just really good at multitasking? Reinforcements arrive from England, but Kingsley believes his regiment could have handled it alone. Now a whole British army is chasing a rogue killer and his gang. Talk about overkill. In an attempt at peace, amnesty leaflets rain from the sky like confetti at a New Year's party. But General Haraka isn't impressed. He's too busy celebrating his new weapons cache. The news of heavy losses and surrenders in the Aberdares dampens Haraka's celebratory mood. Kamamo is perplexed by the amnesty leaflets featuring Haraka's picture, but the general remains defiant. Amnesty? More like a devil's bargain, he says. Lost land and spilled blood are not up for negotiation. As night falls, Haraka visits Old Mwangi, reflecting on how their fathers became slaves under Bwana Jackson in a quest for education. This nostalgia is interrupted by Kingsley's struggle against bad weather and muddy roads. Corporal Inyoro, more interested in earning a sergeant chevron than doing his job, reports terrorist activity at Mwangi's hut. Chief Kahuru assembles his home guards, and a fierce fight breaks out, leaving Haraka seriously injured and old Mwangi dead. Chief Kahuru, unsure if his bullets killed the guilty or innocent, reflects on the cost of conflict. Kingsley, meanwhile, pitches camp at Pinewood Forest Station, preparing for a final showdown. Haraka, feeling swindled and abandoned, struggles with loneliness and physical pain. His hatred for Chief Kahuru burns brighter than ever, but his once reliable allies have deserted him. Injured and delusional, Haraka collapses as his men prepare to evacuate. Kimamo, unprepared to take command, faces a difficult decision. Chief Kahuru attends Sunday prayers for the first time since his baptism, contemplating the recent raid that cost him men and his most efficient sergeant, Nyoro. Haraka's spirit refuses to rest, haunting his men with demands for Chief Kahuru's head. The camp is gripped by failure and frustration as men die or desert. In a last-ditch effort, Kimamo aims to deliver Chief Kahuru's head to his dying general, but his failure to do so costs him his own life. And thus, the curtain falls on the saga of Carcase for Hounds, a tale of courage, betrayal, and the high price of freedom. Until next time, remember, history may repeat itself, but it never does so quietly.
The title Carcase for Hounds is rich in symbolism, reflecting the brutal and predatory nature of colonialism and the struggle for independence in Kenya. A carcass, the lifeless body of an animal, represents Kenya, a land being fiercely pursued and exploited by the colonial powers, akin to hounds hunting their prey. The colonialists, depicted as relentless hounds, are shown willing to go to any lengths to maintain their hold over Kenya, the carcass. Within this larger metaphor, General Haraka emerges as another carcass, relentlessly pursued by Captain Kingsley and his men. The dynamic between Haraka and Kingsley illustrates a microcosm of the broader conflict. Kingsley, in turn, is hounded by Brig. This relentless pursuit reduces human beings to the status of animals, as depicted by the numerous deaths and bodies scattered throughout the story. The ease with which human life is taken underscores the dehumanization and brutality of the conflict. The title also extends to the broader societal interactions, where everyone is being hounded in some form. Chiefs, like Chief Kahuru, hound villagers, suspecting them of supporting the Mau Mau fighters, and also settle personal vendettas. This pervasive atmosphere of suspicion and violence further emphasizes the title's relevance. The setting of the novel, colonial-era Kenya, during the Mau Mau rebellion, is crucial in understanding the story's context. It dramatizes the intense and often horrific violence committed by both the colonial forces and the Mau Mau fighters. By focusing on this turbulent period, the novel does not just recount historical events, but brings to life the atrocities and the human cost of the struggle for independence. Through its setting and symbolic title, Carcase for Hounds offers a poignant commentary on the predatory nature of colonialism and the relentless pursuit of freedom.